Welcome to the hush of night, the gateway to get sleepy. Here, in the quiet embrace of the darkening world, we lend an ear to tranquility. We exhale the day's worries, and together, we drift toward slumber. I am your guide, Thomas, and I'm deeply grateful you've joined me on this nocturnal journey. Tonight, we'll revisit a timeless tale, one whispered by the ancient storyteller Aesop. It's the story of an astronomer, a soul captivated by the celestial dance and the gentle yet profound lesson of finding beauty and significance in the very ground beneath our feet. Before we embark, let's take a moment to settle ourselves, to allow the day's echoes to fade. Think of those still evenings, perhaps etched in your childhood memories or a recent escape, when you've gazed upwards into the inky expanse. The universe unfolds above us, a tapestry woven with countless pinpricks of light, each a sun in its own right. Have you felt that quiet awe, that humbling sense of perspective as you ponder the mysteries held within that infinite void? Let's summon that feeling now. Picture yourself nestled comfortably, perhaps reclining in the soft grass of a moonlit garden, swaying gently in a hammock beneath a canopy of leaves, or stretched out on the cool sand as the ocean whispers its secrets. Feel the gentle caress of the night air on your skin. Allow yourself to be swallowed by the tranquility of that imagined scene. Sense the profound peace that washes over you as you comprehend the sheer, breathtaking scale of the cosmos. Perhaps, for a fleeting moment, the everyday concerns, the small anxieties that often cling to us, begin to diminish, to feel like temporary ripples on a vast, ancient ocean. These earthly burdens, these daily trials, they are but fleeting shadows against the backdrop of eternity. Yet, as you gaze out into the boundless expanse, remember this too. Your presence within this grand universe, in this very moment, is just as vital, just as meaningful, as the most distant, glittering star. In this very space, you are complete, you are yourself, and you are free to rest. Once, in a time painted with the hues of antiquity, lived an astronomer whose heart was irrevocably tethered to the night sky. Sleep held no allure for him. The vibrant constellations, shimmering against the velvet cloak of night, were his true awakening. He resided in a quaint village nestled amongst the sun-drenched hills of ancient Greece, where whitewashed houses, clustered like fallen stars, dotted the landscape leading down to the cerulean embrace of the sea. While his dwelling place was one of simple beauty, it was the celestial sphere that held his singular devotion. From the moment the breathtaking panorama of the night sky had revealed itself to him, the astronomer found that worldly matters paled in comparison. His modest home was a sanctuary of focus, containing only the barest necessities: a simple bed for brief respite, a sturdy dresser, a writing desk bathed in the soft glow of oil lamps, and a solitary chair. His needs were few, for his existence revolved around the nocturnal wonders he meticulously documented at his desk. He had little use for elaborate furnishings, for his social circle was as narrow as his focus was vast. Guests were a rarity. The pursuit of cosmic understanding left little room for earthly companionship. The endless expanse of the night sky beckoned, whispering promises of undiscovered wonders. What secrets, he often mused, lay hidden amongst those distant, twinkling beacons. He yearned to decipher the language of the stars, to unlock their secrets for navigation, for marking the passage of time, for understanding the rhythm of the seasons. His very dreams were painted with starlight. He often wished he could shed his earthly form and float amongst those distant lights, to gain a closer perspective on the celestial tapestry that formed the very fabric of his life's work. His corner of Greece, blessed with crystalline night skies, was his earthly observatory, and he was determined to map its every corner. Each night, as the village settled into slumber, he would venture further afield, his feet traversing the rugged terrain, seeking new vantage points to witness the celestial ballet. The villagers, their lives interwoven with the rhythms of the land and sea, toiled in their fields, tended their gardens, and cast their nets into the deep blue. Their lives were an open book, each knowing the stories of their neighbors intimately. For the astronomer, however, The true frontier of possibility lay not in the familiar earth, but in the boundless heavens. To fully embrace his nocturnal explorations, the astronomer adopted a reversed rhythm of life. While his friends and family gathered for sun-drenched midday meals, their laughter echoing through the village, he would retreat into the cool shadows of his home, preparing for his nightly vigil. As they slumbered, he wandered the silent fields, scaling rolling hills, his path illuminated by the ethereal glow of the moon and stars, his gaze perpetually fixed skyward. Even when storms lashed the landscape, awakening the rest of the village with their fury, the astronomer would find solace in the privacy of his home, diligently recording the observations gleaned from the preceding night. Then, as dawn painted the horizon with its gentle hues, he would finally succumb to sleep, his dreams filled with the swirling majesty of galaxies yet unexplored. He was utterly consumed by this universe of celestial bodies, convinced that the most profound and exciting discoveries awaited him in the inky depths of space. Daylight, with its ubiquitous illumination, revealed all, but the night, the night held an irresistible allure of mystery, a constant invitation to unravel its enigmatic secrets. He watched the seasons orchestrate their changes amongst the constellations, while the landscape around him transformed unseen during his self-imposed daytime slumber. Someone else, he reasoned, has already mapped every hill and valley, charted every river and coastline, but the secrets whispered in the night sky, those remain largely untouched, a vast reservoir of untapped potential, of unanswered questions. He saw in the stars the ancient myths come to life. Artemis, the huntress, forever pursuing her celestial quarry. The mighty gods of Olympus, their stories etched in cosmic fire. Sometimes, bathed in the silvery glow of the moon, he would visit the village's temple of Artemis, a silent tribute to the ethereal beauty that reigned supreme above. The temple, with its open roof, was his earthly portal to the heavens, a perfect frame for the celestial masterpiece. He barely registered the architect's masterful marble columns or the intricately carved statues. His focus remained fixed on the grander creations above. One starlit night, as the astronomer was deep in his nightly contemplation, his gaze lost in the intricate dance of the Big and Little Dippers, his foot caught on an unseen root. He stumbled, his flowing robes tangling around him, sending him sprawling onto the cool earth. It was then that a familiar voice cut through the stillness. His neighbor, drawn by the commotion, emerged from his home to investigate. The astronomer chuckled at his own clumsiness, a rare sound, and began to untangle himself. As his neighbor offered a hand, pulling him gently to his feet, he remarked with a gentle smile, "My friend, why do you spend so many hours gazing at the distant stars when you fail to see the very ground beneath your feet?" The astronomer laughed again, a genuine sound this time. Thinking of the dazzling beauty of the cosmos, the sheer wonder of gazing at worlds impossibly far away. Yet, his neighbor's words resonated with an unexpected truth. Perhaps, just perhaps, his gaze had been tilted too far upwards, blinding him to the simple beauty of the world around him. That night, the astronomer returned home, and for the first time since childhood, he fell asleep as darkness enveloped the village. He awoke to a world vibrantly alive. The sounds of laughter, the gentle murmur of conversations, drifted in on the warm morning breeze. A fleeting sense of melancholy touched him. What celestial wonders had he missed? But as he dressed and stepped outside, a slow smile began to spread across his face. The same neighbor who had helped him the night before stood waiting, an invitation to breakfast extended with a warm gesture. On the table lay crusty bread, its aroma intoxicating, alongside wedges of sharp cheese and a steaming mug of robust coffee. How long had it been, the astronomer wondered, since he had tasted the simple joy of freshly baked bread, shared a warm drink with a friend? As they sat together, the astronomer recounted his nocturnal tumble, a sheepish grin on his face. When breakfast was finished, the couple proposed an outing, a guided tour of their beloved village. They were determined to unveil the earthly wonders he had so long overlooked. Their stroll began down the familiar lane, but through the astronomer's newly opened senses, it was a revelation. "Doesn't the soft earth feel wonderful beneath your feet?" they asked. And it did. He noticed the gentle give of the soil, cushioning each step, a sensation he had been oblivious to during his solitary night walks. "Can you smell the fresh bread and coffee everyone is enjoying this morning?" The aromas, once just a background scent, were now distinct and delightful. They passed a woman tending a vibrant fruit stand. "I haven't seen you in ages," she called, waving him over. "Share some fresh juice with me." She squeezed oranges into a cup, releasing a delicate, floral scent that spoke of sun-drenched groves. The first sip was an explosion of cool sweetness. "Yes," he mused, "the stars are beautiful, but you cannot drink the stars." In that moment, the glittering constellation seemed somehow less sweet than this earthly delight. Learning of their mission, the fruit seller insisted they visit her niece's garden. "If you want to experience the wonders of the earth," she declared, "there's no better place." Leaving her stall in the care of another, she led the way, a cheerful guide on this new adventure. As they walked, more and more villagers emerged from their homes, curious to see the astronomer out and about during daylight. Each had a favorite spot they wanted to share, a hidden gem they wished him to appreciate. He couldn't recall the last time he had been surrounded by so many people. He had always preferred the quiet solitude of the night, but now, truly listening, he heard the music in their voices, the warmth of their camaraderie. The niece welcomed them with open arms. "What an honor to have the great astronomer in my garden for the very first time." Together, they admired the riot of colors and fragrances. She pointed to vibrant red blooms climbing a wooden archway. "These are special wildflowers created by Aphrodite," she explained. Standing beneath the arch, the astronomer inhaled the sweet, piney scent of the blossoms. Next, they admired a patch of regal purple irises, the white circles surrounding their yellow centers clearly visible. They gazed at fiery orange lilies and delicate white orchids, immersing themselves in the garden's fragrant embrace. When it was time to leave, the niece joined their procession, the joy of sharing her garden's beauty radiating from her. Watching the astronomer experience these simple pleasures for the first time was, in itself, a reminder to everyone of the wonders that lay within their everyday lives. Their stroll continued to the Temple of Apollo, its marble pillars gleaming in the sunlight. The astronomer noticed the change in texture beneath his feet as he stepped from the dusty path onto the cool, polished stone. The day's heat was growing, and he appreciated the shade offered by the temple's roof, a welcome contrast to the open expanse of Artemis's temple. He paused, his feet pressed firmly against the marble, a gentle breeze whispering through the pillars, a soothing caress. Perhaps, he mused, he didn't always need to be in motion. Perhaps there was value in stillness, in simply being present. Slowly, he explored the temple, admiring the intricate details, the artistry etched into the walls, a testament to the community's devotion and the skill of its artisans. As the sun climbed higher, they gathered in the shaded village square for lunch, sharing a simple feast of soft cheeses, leftover bread, roasted barley, and plump olives. The astronomer savored each burst of flavor, a stark contrast to his previous hurried meals. He noticed the textures, the interplay of sweet and salty, the satisfying crunch of the barley against the creamy cheese. For dessert, the fruit seller returned with a basket overflowing with her finest produce. The villagers drizzled honey over the succulent fruits, enhancing their sweetness. Each bite was a revelation. After their leisurely meal, the villagers began to drift back to their homes for an afternoon rest, waving goodbye, promising future gatherings. Sleep during the day was a habit the astronomer was well accustomed to, but as he lay on his bed, sleep eluded him. Instead, he focused on the gentle rhythm of his breath. The chirping of birds outside his window, the soft buzzing of bees. A gentle breeze carried the fragrant whispers of the garden, the tantalizing aromas of herbs and spices. He rested, his senses fully engaged with the world around him. As the sun began its descent, a knock echoed on his door. His neighbors had returned, eager to share one final experience. Together, they ascended the winding path up the mountain overlooking the village, a procession of townsfolk carrying blankets and baskets. The evening breeze rustled the leaves, and birdsong followed their ascent. The astronomer listened to the rhythmic footfalls, his senses acutely aware of every detail. Reaching a plateau, they spread their blankets and unpacked their provisions, a tapestry of local delicacies. The farmer offered fresh vegetables and cured meats. The fisherman brought salted herring and calamari. Boiled eggs were shared, and wine flowed from an ornate jug. The air filled with laughter and conversation, but the astronomer remained largely silent, absorbing it all. He listened intently to their stories he had previously ignored. He watched the trees sway, casting long shadows, saw the village nestled below, the mountain peak above. The aromas of the food were intoxicating. Then, the sky began to transform, painting itself in breathtaking hues. For so long, the astronomer had only waited for the darkness, but now he marveled at the vibrant colors of the sunset, each shade of yellow, pink, red, and purple a masterpiece. As the last rays disappeared, the villagers began to pack up. "Now," the astronomer announced, "I have something to show you." They unfolded their blankets once more, settling onto the soft earth, watching as the first stars began to prick the darkening sky. The astronomer had seen the stars countless times, but tonight he saw them anew. He noticed how their light cast long shadows, how they highlighted the contours of the landscape. He pointed out constellations to his companions, sharing his knowledge, and their appreciation filled him with a quiet joy. "I understand why you love the night," his neighbor said, "but isn't it also wonderful to simply be still under the stars?" The astronomer nodded, a profound sense of peace washing over him. He didn't always need to seek something new. Beauty was all around him, waiting to be noticed. As they lay there, stargazing, a wave of drowsiness washed over the villagers. Yawning, they began to gather their belongings, ready for bed. Slowly and carefully, they descended the mountain path, the starlight guiding their way. The astronomer felt each pebble beneath his feet, each twig he stepped over. They whispered of the wonders they had witnessed in the sky. Reaching the village square, they bid each other good night, each returning to the warmth of their homes. The astronomer, too, returned to his house, but instead of seeking his bed, he carried a pillow and blanket outside. He settled onto a soft patch of grass, resting his head. Tonight, he would dream of stars, but this time, he would dream of their beauty interwoven with the beauty of the earth. He closed his eyes, the gentle hooting of an owl a soothing lullaby, and drifted to sleep under the glorious night sky. Thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. May your dreams be filled with the wonder of both the stars above and the beauty that surrounds you. Sweet dreams.